what? You want to fight crime? Let's get dangerous.
Well, it is showtime. I don't understand why it's not making me big, but there we go. Welcome to another episode of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher. I'm your host, Joe D. McPhee here. Tonight's show, as soon as people really start getting here, we got a lot of stuff to talk about here because I'm asking that all-important question. Is the comic book industry really better since the whole designation of collectibles is really being if I could say, expressed upon now, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So what we're going to do first is do our business ends of things here. That is, we always have to deal with stupid o'clock happening 1 hour into our show. If we go into a second hour, that is followed up by Last Man Standing. And then you get a little bit of a respite until Monday, until 10 a.m. We have Nicholas Tockard and Nevermind the Furthermore. And let us not forget about Comic Book Spectrum that happens this upcoming Thursday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to still be doing our normal thing here, going over comic geek culture, try to talk about some comic book things, reliving and having some nostalgia for older stuff here. And if you missed this last week, we talked about the traumatizing thing that happened on Sesame Street dealing with Mr. Snuffleupagus. But nevertheless, there's a lot of fun to be had here. So on that note, we got people slowly coming in here. So without further ado, it is that time once again that people enjoy most often about this show. It is time for new comic book pickups for the week. It is a live pickups for the week here. So let me go ahead and get started by doing this. The first book here, and we got to do a little bit of censorship here. I finally got a copy of Double Impact issue number 0 for the second volume, which means that I think the only issue between the first and second volume that I'm missing here is issue 3 of the second volume here. So we're almost getting close to a full set of Double Impact. Next, we got a couple more Spirit books. So we got Spirit 19. This is Spirit 45. And then we got Spirit 79. So I'm getting closer and closer to finishing off my kitchen sink run of the Spirit here. I still need to find my issue number 3 for the second volume of the DC run. And then I have all the DC stuff here. And then after that, we got a small little run of New Mutants. So we got a 37, a 47, a 52, and we got a couple of copies of 71. No, excuse me, a couple of copies of 73, I should say. So we got one that is direct and one that is newsstand. So we got 2 copies of that, and that brings us to the end of all the New Mutants that we got here. We ended up getting issue number 15 of Vengeance of Vampirella from the old Harris Comics line here. Very, very, very nice. And then we got Venom Lethal Protector number 6. I am still waiting for my issue number 5 to come in before I can have a complete set of Venom, the first volume of Venom Lethal Protector. And then I got extra well, I don't know if I have all of this here, but this is Ultimate Power, issue number 1. And then I have issue 2 and issue 3. So 1, 2, and 3 for Ultimate Power. I'm not certain if I have all or a good majority of Ultimate Power, but I have to go back and recheck for those things here. Then we got X-Men number 11. I believe this is from volume 4. So I'm getting closer and closer to having all of volume 4. And then we got some books from the Inhuman series, this 4-issue series here. It looks like we got issues 1, 2, and 3. So here we go. Issue 1, issue 2, and issue number 3 from the Inhuman series. And then from the Magnificent Miss Marvel series, we ended up getting issue number 9 and issue number 17. And no, I'm not close to having all of the Magnificent Miss Marvel series, the Kamala Khan series here. And then we got some Black Panther issues here. This spans a couple different volumes, so I don't know which volume was which here, but we got issue number 25, issue 33, 34, and 35. And we got a couple more copies of the Jaguar. So we got another issue 1 and another issue number 2. And last but not least, we have, I believe this is, Rogue number 11. So that's Rogue in the second volume here, issue number 11. So that is all of the books that came in this week here. Hopefully, if everything turns out well, I should have a nice little set of pickup books for next week here. And we got our comments here. Yep, there's Aaron. Oh, you just got a package in the mail. Cool. Sure. You want to do new comic book pickups with me here? Give me 1 second here. Let me do this. Let me go out to Instagram. For those who speak regular English, I just said Instagram. And let me go ahead and send you the quick little invite here. Since Aaron says like, hey, I want to do an unboxing on my show, and he caught us right here while we're doing new comic book pickups for the week. Might as well. Okay, let's not now. We don't need notifications. It's wrong chat. Here we go. There he is. Oh, that was the group. That's not him. Dang it, Aaron. You have so many different groups and stuff out here. Just not simple to just message you. There you go. There he is. Okay, the link is on your Instagram right now. I just sent you the link via Instagram. So you should have it right now. And everybody stand by. We're going to have a little bit of a guest here as we go forward here. Since we're still at the tail end of new comic book pickups a week, we're going to have the Psychotronic Squirt Gun, aka Aaron, on the show with us here in a few moments. Let's see if he goes ahead and able to get to the messages on Instagram. Just sent them the link there. I would put it into YouTube, but that means that everybody and their grandma could try to get in. I just don't want that to happen either just yet. But we got the link out to them. Hopefully. Yeah, he just got it. I just saw on Instagram he just got it. So let's get a couple more moments here. And here he is. Without further ado, the man of the hour, the psychotronic squirt gun himself.
Hey, it's
Aaron.
an honor. It's an honor being on your show, man.
Yep.
Being a guest on your show. This is awesome. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing all right. This is probably going to be good because depending on whether you stay live like this or not, we could probably have a very good conversation based upon the topic for tonight here.
Sure. Yeah, as long as you want me on, it's fine. If you just want me to jump on just to open this package, that's fine as well. So I showed the address, but I don't think Matt would care. You know, I got this from Heroes for Hire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I just was dealing with a friend who was helping me with the roof of my house today, and so that's what I just jumped on right now, and I saw that you were here, and I saw I had this package, and I thought, why not, right?
Oh, you saw me in the middle of new comic book pickups for the week. It's like perfect opportunity to see what new books I got.
Totally. So,
ooh, that looks like it's a nice little stack there.
woo-hoo. Okay, so normally when I'm on my Monday show with my friends, I'm slowly getting things into the CLZ, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'm actually still I have everything organized on my everywhere in
Mm-hmm.
short boxes. It's organized. All my comics now. I just need to get them into the CLZ.
So you just pretty much stupid phone ran out of battery. I can't scan stuff anymore.
Yeah. And so I need to whenever I'm with my friends and we're trading or selling to each other, I literally go to the box and flip through, and then and it's a lot more fun that way, but it's not that practical when you're out and about buying comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one I got here, I have yet to read this. So it's Monster and the Wolf.
Oh, that's interesting.
So this is homaging. I forget.
That seems like that's an independent
Dave
too.
Stevens. I think it's homaging a Dave Stevens
Seduction of the Innocent.
cover there.
That's Seduction of the Innocent.
Okay, cool. And I really like the Mark Spears art. I haven't read this one. I read the first 7 comics.
See,
hey, Leia's here.
Yep, we got people saying hi.
And
yep, that definitely is an independent. I have not heard of this here.
Well, this was all the rage last month when they were doing blind bags during Halloween. You probably ran across that, right? The Mark Spears blind bags.
So again, I'm not a Mark Spears fan. The Mark Spears monster stuff.
Yeah. So here we go with number 1 of Rise of the Midnight Suns, Night Stalkers in newsstand. So I didn't have this.
Ooh.
I like taking it out because unless I turn that light off over there, there's a glare.
Oh, not polybagged.
No.
That's issue 5 or 6. Yep.
So I have some of these, and I got this for $1. I was like, "Are you sure?" These Rise of the Midnight Suns actually, especially in the newsstand, it fetches some money, doesn't it? People, it's collectible. This Midnight Suns series here. I did not have this.
They're like saying it was Elvira's House of Mystery, but I could have sworn no. I have to take a look at Seduction of the Innocents and the Elvira back to back here. I could have sworn Elvira was not writing.
Well, Matt, I'm streaming over at on Joe McPhee's D McPhee's. I'm opening your box, man. Your box that you sent me, dude.
Okay, I was away from my phone. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, I'm live right now with Joe. If you want to.
Hi, Matt.
Tell Joe I said hello.
Will do, my man.
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
So I didn't have this Tales to Astonish, and it's actually mid to high grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very happy with this. I love it's weird in the late 70s, 79 to 80, the prices really jumped, didn't they, Joe? You know?
Well, yeah, but you have to think about a couple other things here. When we were little, we went through comic books where they went from 40 cents to 50 cents to 75 cents to a dollar.
Yeah, the 60 cent. Remember, it was 60 cents. It went from 40, 50, 60 really fast. I know that. Yeah. I started comprehending comics better when they were at the 60-cent era. So now I got an Iron Man 200.
Yep, double-sized issue if I remember correctly.
I needed this, and it's in high grade. So that's pretty cool. I didn't like this era of Iron Man. I don't think I was too impressed when it was coming out.
What, you didn't like what? I think that's what Mach 3 armor.
Yeah. I thought it was okay. I like the classic look a little better. You know, a little Mockingbird in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And here's an older Iron Man, issue 150.
Yep.
I like doing this, so if you guys don't mind.
See, we haven't gotten to like the newer stuff as of yet. The armors that is like, why couldn't the armors be like that back in the day?
Yeah.
New stealth armor. They just color it black. It was nothing really different with the armor.
This is the era of Marvel that I really love, because this is when I started comprehending what was going on. It was really the 60 cents, but it really jumped. We did the art here. This is really nice. Oh, John Romita Jr. That's why.
You sent me a picture, so let me see what's going on with said picture. I believe she's sending me. I was like, it's not like I don't believe her. It's just that my recollection is like the witch on the broom. That's like the way she was sitting reminds me more of the seduction of the Innocents than the Elvira. But in the Elvira, I don't remember her being on a broom. So.
Right, yeah. Here we have a reprint of Fantastic Four, Marvel's Greatest Comics, 67. I did not have this. No matter who you are, you secretly like Dr. Doom, you know? Even when people say they don't, I think they do. But yeah,
because Dr. Doom to me is an anti-hero and not a villain, like most people think he is.
Yeah, his end goals is altruistic.
Yep, she is on the broom. She is actually on the broom. So it is the Elvira's House of Mystery.
69. So more Kirby goodness. And this was a way nicer condition than the last one.
So that is what that book is truly homaging. She is correct. She was on the broom.
We got two more.
I remember the sitting post for this exact same. I just couldn't remember that she was on the broom for the House of Mystery.
I've got three more to show, and then that was what I'm seeing these as you guys are seeing them. And for $3, this was a good deal. More Jack Kirby goodness. 1975. We have Marvel Spectacular, number 18. I love my reprints on newsprint. You know?
See, I don't know. Maybe that's the difference between you and me, because to me, the reprints, I don't treat the reprints in the same regards as the original.
Oh no. I do pay up for the original stuff still,
Mhm.
but I do like having the reprints on newsprint. It's fun. It's just a fun way to. But I know you love your modern comics as much as the older ones, right, Joe?
Some, not all.
Okay.
Some, not all. Because it's like modern Archie I don't like as much as like the older stuff.
Yeah.
Uh there's a lot of titles, a lot of modern titles that I just go like meh. There's their super action.
Yeah, we got more reprints here. But I got all these from Matt, dude. I don't know if I woke Matt up. I don't know how he sounded there. I got kind of a tear here, but
That's fine.
I
mean, that's
collect.
fine.
Yeah, I collect. I love the splash pages of the.
Of the old school, how
Yeah.
how they did them back then as opposed to today.
Yeah, they really wanted you at the first page to look at it and have it reel you in, right? And the last one we'll show here is is Marvel Premiere number 38, Weird World. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Now, the weird thing about Marvel Premiere, if I remember correctly, there were multiple volumes of Marvel Premiere, and that's how they test marketed a lot of the characters, because I think there was a run of Marvel Premiere. Is it Marvel Premiere or Marvel Features that I'm thinking about?
Well,
I think it's
Premiere
Marvel.
has different story. Look at some Mike Plug art.
So it's probably Marvel Features that I'm thinking about, that primarily they used that title to kick off particular characters before they got their own series, such as Red Sonja had a whole bunch of Marvel Features, and it was a volume of Marvel Features. I think Doctor Strange was falls in that category, and a couple others.
Some Mike Plug art here. He's known for more horror, I think, but some cool fantasy, fantastic story here. So thank you, Matthew, Heroes for Hire. Thank you, Joe, for having me on.
Mm-hmm.
I just love when I get mail just to go live and open what I got.
Well, I saved you some effort here, and besides, you caught me while I was showing people new stuff, so
Yeah.
it kind of fit right.
And it wasn't a recording this time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So sometimes you record this stuff, but so Joe, this was your favorite cover then, right?
No, we were talking about what it was homaging, and Parallax was right. It is Elvira's House of Mystery.
It's Parallax's favorite cover, I suppose. Yeah. But you don't like Mark Spears too much, huh?
I'm not. Again, everybody wants me to be more into horror, and horror to me is just like meh until you get into like a lot of the old school, like eerie and creepy type stuff, where it was more of a thriller than gore.
Like I like Stranger Things because it's more of a thriller, I think, and is more of a love letter to the 80s horror genre than it actually didn't emulate it exactly, as far as going deep and showing a lot of horrific stuff, So I like Monster Hunters too.
Well, I don't really watch stuff like that too often here. But then again, it's like horror stuff that I do like. I like stuff like Saw before they changed the storyline around.
Oh, really? And
before Jigsaw died, when the original Jigsaw was there, that was to me was the type of horror that I like, because of the simple fact it was more of a thriller.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what he was really trying to do.
Yeah.
Not really whether or not he gets caught or anything or all this other stuff, but to understand why he's doing what he's doing for what purpose.
Yeah.
It just the whole thing. And like I said, Saw 1 started a phenomenon.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't gory, but it started a phenomenon about how far a person will go
Yeah. The
to
body
try to
horror.
teach somebody else a lesson. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Body horror is not really my thing, you know.
but that's the thing. It really wasn't body horror. It was more mental, but it was told through some aspects of body horror.
Oh, I see.
Because a lot of the games that he played with a lot of these people really didn't truly deal with the horror of, torturing. It was the end result. If you failed,
Right.
landed you in that aspect. The game always put you in a situation where you have to do something that you feared in order to escape, or to be, if as he termed it, deemed cured of what's ailing you.
Right. Yeah. Right. There's more of a it was more of a psychological twist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like going back to like those late 70s, 60s, and 70s horror films, like the Indomitable Dr. Vibes and stuff to that magnitude.
Yeah, it implies more than actually shows,
Hmm.
which is
I mean,
important.
yeah, they show a lot of, in this version, they showed a lot more of it, but horror movies like The Tingler is where I like it. It's more of that psychological aspect of it, not being able to scream to
I
release
like
pressure. If you don't do it, you die. Type stuff.
I like strange phenomenon, which borderlines horror,
Hmm.
like X-Files and stuff like that. You know, I like
That crosses over genres here, because it's part sci-fi, part horror. If
yeah,
you really look at it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it leans heavily into the sci-fi aspect. But there's a lot of horror elements that was always there when they were discovering what was going on.
yeah, right, yeah. Just in having the authority to, being an agent of the law and going after these mysteries. I always thought that was a great dynamic,
Mhm.
to present on TV at that time. It seemed there was nothing like that, although there was. But to me, when I was watching it, it seemed really new. Um,
The thing that I didn't like about X-Files is that the movies took
yeah,
away from the television series.
yeah. The movies never really delivered the huge plot points. It was the television series that did that.
Actually, there were higher plot points that the television series could not get into.
Yeah, um,
And
but
that's what the problem was.
yeah, it never really resolved anything in the television series. Um, so I don't know. We did watch them sequentially, like last year, all the series and the movies in between, and I could tell with the movies they weren't necessary to the plot of the television series.
They were good movies nonetheless, but it
Yeah,
was just a higher form of what was out there was way beyond their control.
yeah,
Way beyond.
yeah,
But it magnified certain characters.
yeah.
Like the well manicured man, I had a greater respect for him because of the movies.
Cool. Yeah, what I remember liking, I forget which movie. What I didn't like is that I have this idea of how the grays would be, the gray aliens, and of course they changed that into like this biological, like, killing machine, it looked kind of like a gray, which I thought that was really interesting. What they did well, I thought, was in the third season with Jesse Ventura as the man in black, the men in black,
Mhm.
and that was before the movie popularized that idea, you know. And from what I read when I was a kid, I was just reading whatever, but that seemed to fit a little more along the lines of how the men in black were, as far as hypnotism and being mysterious and stuff like that.
that also made me wonder about the first movie, Fight for the Future.
Yeah,
When they finally saw the reactors and stuff that came from the alien technology that they appropriated,
right.
the organization appropriated, and it's like that's like I remember that scene. I was like, this gonna change the television series forever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Was that the liquid um, alien form that was possessing people? Did
it
they
was
touch on that?
it was like a it was like this one long type of fluid generator that they came across in Fight for the Future,
Right. Yeah.
and they couldn't figure out what it was at the time. They just knew it was alien
Right.
because of the simple fact of all the clues that the well manicured man kept telling them. It's like, you don't want to get involved,
Right.
but if you need to know, it's over there. They went over there, they saw what they saw. I was like, yeah, this
Was
goes a lot deeper. It's not just simply, oh, we're going to see some aliens. It's more along the lines like, how long have they been communicating and what other technology is being used?
the well manicured man? Was that one of the council? They would always be in the shadowy. They were kind of like introduced in the third season, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like three key council members, but the well manicured man was like the one that knew the most, but he was also the one that was most hands off.
Yeah, but he eventually got killed too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I liked the original Deep Throat, and I liked X. They did that guy wrong. The second informant, um, he should have never. The way he went out, I didn't like that. I thought he
But
was.
that's the TV series more so than the movies. The movies went a little bit more in depth as far as what the shadow organization was really trying to hide from
Yeah,
everybody.
one of the movies ended that shadow organization.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah. I don't know if it was Fight the Future, but I think it was.
No, that's the first one. The first one
Yeah.
didn't end it.
How many were there? There was three.
I think it was three. Yeah, I think it
There
was
was
three.
three. In the shadowy the shadow council there, um, I think ended it earlier than I remembered originally. Um, they got wiped out by trying to play both sides or something. The aliens came in. That whole thing with the the eyes being sewed in the mouth and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff was really really creepy. Really interesting. That was only to prevent the liquid aliens from coming and inhabiting them. So they were
Mm-hmm.
like there were a sect of aliens that were rebelling against that sect of aliens, I suppose. But they never really got delved too deeply into the
The
they
Civil War, that
yeah, the
their
Civil War.
Civil War
It
that
was
was
always
going
out
on.
here, and you get little puzzle pieces, and then it was a new episode about whatever, a vampire or a werewolf or something.
Well, that was the whole thing. It's like the werewolf or vampire was really not a werewolf or vampire. It was some other form
Yeah,
that came from outer space, but they never got to that aspect of it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, that's just like the whole thing, I think, towards the tail end about Mulder's disappearance, how Mulder went into space and just disappeared.
yeah.
And
That
left Scully just there, and she was just like, well, what in the world is going on? It's like
when
Fox
they're
was right. Fox was right, and she was like uncovering all this stuff, and she was just about becoming just as paranoid as Fox was before he left.
I thought with the way they kicked it off was interesting, but after a while, I forget the actor's name, but he was also one of the Terminators, right? He was like the second Terminator or whatever. That guy, I wish he would have dropped the New York accent, the cop accent. It kind of like I like the dynamic that they were highly educated people speaking
Mm-hmm.
to one another, so that kind of I don't know, kind of degraded the experience for me when he was interacting with Scully, but not too bad. But
Yeah.
um, I thought they did a great job when it kicked off. It was interesting, but upon reviewing it, I kind of slowly it lost my interest those last seasons there. Unfortunately, I always thought the concept of X-Files was bigger than Mulder and Scully, but they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it without.
They didn't have the money to do it the way that they were supposed to do it.
Yeah,
Just like it's just like kind of like how I felt about Prison Break.
yeah, Prison Break, right?
Prison Break was a very unique show. It's like Fox, the network, had a couple of very innovative shows that kind of fell on its rear because of the money situation.
Yeah.
Prison Break was one of them.
That was just one season?
No, it was 2.5.
Wow. Okay.
Season 3 got cut short.
Oh.
Because of it being canceled. Because the way that it ended is that the way that they did it, as far as for the studios to really make their money, they did the 2 seasons and a half, and then the actual ending of the series became what is known was known for straight to DVD as Final Break.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was the second half of what happened in season 3, because what happened in season 3, and that they kind of fast forward through a lot of it, is that the woman who fell in love with Michael Schofield, who was the main character,
Okay.
ended up going to prison. They ended up catching her.
Oh, right.
And they found out all the stuff that she did to help them escape before they got completely how can I say this? Before they got all their pardons from the president.
Right. I vaguely remember that.
It's like she got caught. They sent her to prison, and then all of a sudden, I can't even think of his name here. The initial person that was investigating them after they broke out of Fox River, his people finally got the pardons and everything, and everything came to a head, and they ended up getting married.
All right.
That was the way that the TV series ended. Final Break was midway in between all of that. They never got the chance to actually get married. She went to prison. Michael found out about it. The disease that Michael had that caused like whatever brain tumor or brain damage that he's had came back.
Oh, right.
So he went from being fine to terminal again. So he vowed to himself before he died, I'm getting the love of my life out of prison because none of this is her fault.
Right.
So he staged a prison break to get her out and went through with it. Saved her, but ended up dying in the process.
Oh, really?
Sorry about the spoilers, people, if you haven't seen Final Break. If you haven't seen Final Break, but that's what pretty much ended up happening. It's like one thing went very, very wrong, and for them to escape, he stayed behind to connect this one electrical device, which electrocuted him.
Wow.
Because the thing is, even if they did escape, he was going to die a couple months later.
That was season 3?
That was supposed to be the true end of season 3.
Oh, okay. So how did they end it mid-season?
Well, they ended up, the love of Michael Schofield life, they ended up getting married. They had a son, and they raised their son, and they lived happily ever after.
Oh, really? Okay.
Final Break, the love of his life is in prison carrying his child.
Oh.
He had to break him out because the pardon that he got did not reach all the channels as of yet to indemnify her.
Oh, okay.
So they broke her out of prison and everything. It was set up that they were supposed to break out and to go live happily ever after until she found out that Michael was terminal again. So Michael was holding that away from her. She finds out this, that, and the other. And he pretty much like, yeah, I want to live the rest of my life together, this, that, and the other. And then as everything was going on, as they was escaping, tragedy happened at the last second where this one transformer at the prison stopped working. He had to repair it for them to escape. It would have meant that somebody would have to stay behind and possibly die, depending on how long it's going to take for them to get across.
Right.
He said, look, I'm about to go ahead and do this. Yada, yada, yada. Go and live your life. Raise our son to be a good person.
And that made him a good person, putting his life
Mm-hmm.
on the line like that.
Yeah, because it's like she actually watched him electrocute himself to save him.
Dang, dude. So it was a great show, but it didn't get the ratings.
It was a great mystery. It was a great mystery from beginning to end.
You don't think it was advertised properly?
No, just like the Fox series Lie to Me was not advertised properly.
I like that one, Lie to Me. Yeah, I remember that. The micro expressions on the face. And
well, human lie detecting.
Yeah, human lie detector. Wow. That was a while ago.
Mm-hmm. And again, the guy who played in the MCU for what's this? I can't even think of his name.
Well, who was the
Abomination. The Abomination was the head doctor for Lie to Me.
Yeah. And that was Tim something, right?
Yeah. I can't think of his last name.
Yeah. He was on Pulp Fiction too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if I can.
But while you look that up, let me go ahead and continue on with the rest of the show here. I got to do my updates and accountability here. So, for those who follow what I do on the comic book side here, I didn't get much done with comic book pages and everything, but I did do this here. I did make the updates to the website here. So now we do have a mention for our upcoming title now for Legends of the Giantess Slayer. So we do have that out there as of right now. So if you click on that, you could get the idea of what the series is going to be about and the inspiration behind it. And cool. we do show you the first 3 covers here. These are the safe for work covers. We're not showing the not safe for work as of yet.
Safe for work, huh?
Yeah, so we have that coming soon.
Nice.
This is going to happen in 2026, right around C2E2. So we got this stuff taken care of. We're just slowly but surely building up the website. I haven't dropped the actual news about it on the main website or the main homepage as of yet here, but we're getting things done here, and awesome. I have to make one change down here to add, at least the issue 1 cover here, where you could go and learn about the comics itself here. So this has to be changed. This last panel down here about to be changed. And yes, we still have our fan art gallery here. So if you have fan art that you want to give to us, we do display it. We give people the credit who sent it in. And that's really cool, there for all time.
Awesome.
So it's like, when it's like we have kids that come by and draw with me and everything to that matter too. We post all that stuff right there on the website.
That's fun, dude.
And for those who may miss this episode here, you can always come out to the website here, and you can always see the last episodes of our series here. So the first one that always will pop up is the one up for that prior week. And if you click on this one symbol there, it will show you all the episodes of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher that you can take a look at. Now, this is all on minus the stuff that we lost when the whole channel fiasco happens. But that's what ended up happening over this week. That is our updates and accountabilities for this week. Now we're into our top for today.
So accountability could be some work. It has to be something that you're doing towards your aims. Doesn't necessarily mean you're working on a page or anything like that.
Right. It got to be something that moves a book, a title, the company, something to keep moving forward. And that's one of the reasons why I always, mention in the shows, it's like, I need your guys' help to keep me accountable. Because if I'm not working on stories and stuff, then I'm not making anything for you guys to be entertained by.
Yeah.
So what's the point? What's the point of having a show if that's the case?
I was doing my creative stuff today. Didn't feel like doing it, but once you start doing it, you get right into the groove and like it. It's like there's this inertia sometimes that's built into everyone, and you just got to put one foot in front of the other and just do it, and then suddenly you're into it and you're having fun with it or whatever. It's pretty cool.
So that's the accountability aspect for it. So now we're in the topic phase here.
All right.
Today's topic is the comic industry, quote unquote, really better up under the status of collectibles?
Yeah. I mean, is the collectability of comics really helping the industry?
Not really the collectability of it, because inherently it is collectible, but the designation of collectible, meaning that it is primarily marketed as collectible. Yeah. Forget about stories, forget about the art, forget about all this other stuff. It is collectible.
Yeah.
I truly believe it is killing this age of comics.
Like first
more so than anything else.
Right? Like first appearances, and as an example.
Not even that. And one of my examples here, and I'm glad that you're here, because now I could, I have somebody that could bounce off of this a little bit clearer.
Cool.
One of the examples that I brought up here is how over this week I watched a video from Swagglehouse that talked about Absolute Batman number 15 that came out this week.
Yes, that's a highly anticipated release.
Mainly because of the reveal of the Joker in this run of Batman.
Coming back to first appearances.
Well, not just really the first appearances, because again, having Joker appear is one thing. But the thing about it is nobody's truly talking about the story. Everybody's talking about, they have to rush and get whatever specialized collectible cover that they want for this issue. It's not about Joker's first appearance, because if that was the case, it didn't matter which cover people got. They specifically was pointing out the different covers and how all of a sudden the secondary market had this insane markup. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about how there was an insane markup for Absolute Batman number 1 in a CGC 9.8 being at $400, and a lot of people were crying foul about how modern comics were over this, that, and the other. It's like, no, the demand for that book in a 9.8 may be legitimate, but it's also not a big enough, if I could say in this, there's not enough sales data to really say that book is really worth $400, because we're still dealing with a lot of the outliers who are willing to pay the $400 for that book at a 9.8.
That's the FOMO aspect.
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Exactly. So because of the fact that marketeers are putting more emphasis about the collectability to
Yeah.
enforce a lot of FOMO, to enforce a lot of impulsiveness, especially if you have the discretionary funds. Is it really better, or does it really make it worse? And to a greater degree, as far as modern comics is concerned, as far as my point of view, it's making it worse because of the simple fact that you're not allowing newer people to get into the hobby the way that they should, meaning that that entry point becomes sometimes overly expensive. I mean, if let's just say if you was a fan of if you're a fan of Batman or had interest in Batman,
Right.
especially in this new Absolute Batman series, 9 times out of 10 you got priced out because you can't get that issue number 1, probably can't get that issue number 2. Issue
Yeah.
15 just came out that had a significant character to come out with it. Now you're priced out of that.
But people end up getting the second printing, third printing, stuff like that, right?
Even with the second and third printings, after a while, they have the secondary markup because it is quote unquote rarer than the first printing
Yeah, I know that. That's
because it's shorter run. I was like, it's like y'all guys are just taking this stuff too literally about printings and all this other stuff as far as the manufactured rarity on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I agree with that. You know, that's why it's important to somehow inspire people to look at back issues, because the majority of back issues these days are affordable. You know,
That brings up another problem. Which back issues are you going to have them to look at?
yeah, it depends.
Because if you're a Batman fan, guess what? They probably want to have you to look at the higher end back issues instead of just saying, here's a whole lot of Batman back issues, some that you can afford and some that you can't. You
Right.
know, let them get in where they can fit in and start liking what's going on here. Yeah, it's like if you go back to the back issues here, it's like, okay, I could start on in like, a random issue for like $1, or I could start doing with an actual storyline like Hush or Long Halloween or something to that magnitude, but that will cost more money in the long run. And in the way that books are being sold now, especially in LCSs, they're going to move towards the more expensive stuff. So they might push them to, the actual more pricey issues, or they might push them towards the trade paperbacks, which sometimes is anywhere between $9 to $20.
Yeah.
But yet you have a dollar box, 50-cent box, and quarter box over there that might have a couple of Batmans up in, and you're not going to point them to there because you're not making any money.
Right. It's pretty much, they spring that on the former comic book readers or former collectors who are like, you know what, I'm going to go into that LCS and I'm going to go look around and see if I could find anything that like nostalgic, or just something interesting. Rarely is it just the kids, because the kids are so distracted by other forms of media, on the internet. I hope one day that changes. But so your fear is that the people who want to come back, right, see something hyperinflated, they're just going to roll their eyes and say, "Hey, whatever. I'm not throwing down money for that." Right?
Well, it's not
Be turned off completely from the whole hobby, right?
It's not just that. It's not just that aspect here. We look at new people coming in the door. So you have, like you say, you have the people who once collected, had the nostalgia eyes here.
Yeah.
But I'm also looking at the teenagers and kids. Like you said, they're into other medium, and then they get to the point where they go into a local LCS here.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, the first couple of things that they're going to ask about is like, where's your manga section?
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't have a manga section, guess what? You might not grab them. If they are into Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman stuff here, once they hear the price tag, that's it. They don't have that type of money. They have to turn around to mom or dad.
Yeah, the kids have it harder these days, I think, due to the economy, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's like mom or dad might be willing to pay, $20 for a graphic novel for a complete storyline, but they're not going to pay $5, $6, $7, $8 for one comic book.
Exactly.
And that's a problem. And the thing about it is, because they are marketing it as collectibles based upon who's drawing the cover for that week, you're inflating prices and inflating, the overall value of what's going on here.
Yeah.
One of the things that also irks me, and this is not a dig at LCSs, this is not a dig at comic book companies or anything to that magnitude. There's no more emphasis in telling people what the stories are about or what a series is about, like it used to be back in the day.
I mean, DC,
if something brand new, a brand new series is coming out and people are pining for it, you usually have in some form or some fashion, some other comic magazine, some other comic literature, whether it be Comic Shop News, Wizard Magazine, Comic Reader, someone is covering. And in this day and age of internet, where we have all these different bloggers talking about how bad a lot of these stories and stuff are, nobody's out here trying to truly cover what is new and good anymore. And it seems like the negativity have won over people. And it's cooler to talk about how bad something is than what is great that's about to come out here.
And even I think there's a reluctance to trust a lot of channels who seem to want to be an influencer.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when they say something is really good, maybe it is, but then you jump in and then you find out 3 issues in and you spent $20 that you don't like it. So like you said, it's a number of things. It's definitely the price point, and it's also people are influenced by others on the internet. That's what it is really now, especially with a collectible game. A lot of the fun is that people are interacting online and seeing each other's collections, and a lot of FOMO is being generated from that. So
too much FOMO. But that's the interesting thing, because I'm at the point with, at least with my collection, for the titles that I do collect, I'm literally asking people, I like this type of stuff. What stuff am I missing? What other titles am I missing that's kind of like akin to that? And 9 times out of 10, nobody could point me anywhere. I have to go in self-discovery.
Right, because you're not into Mark Spears.
I mean, I'm not into monsters. I'm not into monsters. Everybody's like, well, Mark Spears. It's like, okay, why should I care about Mark Spears? What is he doing that might be interesting to me? What story is he writing? Oh, he's doing a monster story. It's like, well, I'm not into monsters here. And I was saying, like, well,
it's with the monsters in regards to that. It's more about, I believe, the Slayer, a character, is intriguing, and also the depiction of Dracula as being this maleficent, unstoppable force is really compelling as well. So he's doing a good job with character developments, and also using historical or fictional characters,
Hmm.
So yeah, I would totally give it a shot. But I understand what you're saying. You don't care about horror. Now,
Right. So
what about some other modern comics besides Mark Spears? Because you're tired of your
I mean, it's like we just picking on that as a
Yeah.
whole here because it's like, I hear a whole bunch about Mark Spears, I hear a whole bunch about Absolute Batman, but nobody talks about Absolute Wonder Woman and how great that series is. Nobody talks about Absolute Superman and how it kind of changes the game a little bit as far as how people used to talk about how Superman was boring. It
Right.
may not have started out the gate correctly, but now it's like, oh.
Yeah, I'm a few issues into Absolute Superman. I'm not caught
Mhm.
up, but I think the whole the cape aspect and was it Saul? Is that what it's called, or Soul, or something like that? That's really interesting, and the AI, and it does lean into the technology a little more, and that whole
He's no longer the Boy Scout. He
yeah
does what he needs. He does what he sees that is right, and that is a major change for that character.
yeah.
And what is right will contradict based upon how you see him as a whole here.
Unfortunately, this universe is temporary, right? This absolute
I
DC.
don't know. I don't know. It depends on how they go after this whole KO type thing.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought that something with Dark Side uh, utilizing the power of Spectre created a new universe that's way darker or something. But
That's the whole purpose of DCKO.
yeah,
DC,
okay,
they're using DCKO to reboot the DC universe again.
really. How many times is it going to reboot?
That's another problem
Because that
with modern comic books. It's like every so often you now retool everything. You do what you gotta do, and then all of a sudden now we gotta reboot everything because now we need to get new people in. People don't want to go back and read umpteen million issues of previous comics
yeah.
just to understand what's going on.
Like I'm intrigued by this Brave and the Bold that came out probably 10 years ago, but what's the point
Yep.
if the continuity doesn't matter?
And again, nobody truly understands Ultraman.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
that's why I love Crime Syndicate and I love Earth 3.
the art looks great.
Earth 3 to me is what defines what modern comics should go in as far as trying to develop that fine line between what is heroic and what is not heroic.
It it doesn't compel me to buy new comics, however, when I could get the comic like 2 years from now for like $1.50,
Mhm.
you know? If and I think that if people are spending top dollar for the new comics coming out, good on you, because it's bringing happiness. We should be going after our whatever makes us happy, right? But for
Mhm.
me, I want to grab stuff that's going to hold its value. You know?
That's enough. That's the other part of why I don't think that this whole collectability aspect in modern comics is a good thing because everybody's looking at the fiduciary value.
Yeah, but even for me, who I enjoy reading the stories and looking at the art, there's so many back issues that I haven't read. I'd rather go into the copper and bronze era and just grab stuff I never read before and read it and enjoy it, and it holds its value more. And then I could always pick up the floppies from the modern era a couple years after they're released, and that's the sad truth. No one wants to talk that way, but I mean, it piles up. $5 a comic, it adds up after a while.
Quickly, very quickly.
Yeah.
But here's the caveat to what you're saying here, and this is what I've been saying for a couple of weeks now. There is more of an intrinsic value looking at comic books when it comes to history. Like you said, going back to Bronze Age, Silver Age, Golden Age, and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
When you go back that way, know that these books have value because of the simple fact that they're few and far between that may still be left.
And the stories
You're
matter.
maintaining history at that point.
Yeah, because the stories build on other stories before it. Where now they're always rebooting the titles and the universes. There's whispers that Marvel's actually going to reboot, which might as well, I guess. I don't know. It's like I throw my hands up like that.
But that's the whole fact of the collectible label being on comics now.
Yeah.
Because the collectible label is there, rebooting it doesn't hurt the bigger franchise. What it does, it resets the monetary value that maybe some people are willing to pay. The outliers, per se, those outliers are setting the secondary market up to kind of fail.
Yeah.
To a certain degree. And then when it fails, people who are long-time collectors, and when I say long-time collectors, we're talking about people who've been collecting for, I would say, 25 plus years or more, would then come in and buy at a very cheap rate, look at it and try to find some type of intrinsic historical value to apply to it.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why I still want to complete my Volume 1 Wonder Woman collection. Not because of its value. It's good to have a full run of it for historical purposes that I could go back and look at, or go back and show other people.
Yeah,
Start
I know
telling people this is how the books were back in 1940.
I know what you mean.
Compared to the one that I bought right out of the store here in 2025, 2020, 26, 2027.
Yeah.
Big differences between the two.
I don't
How
even
the stories were written different.
I don't even like price tags on the bags. When I like changing them out. So even if I spent a lot on a key from the Bronze era, it goes into the run without a price tag. They're all to me intrinsically equal because they're telling a story, right? But my point about when I buy something and I want the value to hold, because if I get a duplicate, I could take that and get rid of it and get something that I want. You know what I mean? It's just like managing my money better. It's not so much that I want to expand the value of my comic collection. So there's a distinct difference there, I think. But yeah, that makes sense what you're saying. Like historical, having the entire run, which would be amazing, even if it isn't a linear coherent history, because sometimes the earlier comics are not. They're lighthearted for a while and just off to the next thing. But just having that whole run there. But as you go into the Silver Age, that changes. The continuity matters. The timelines matter. And you had that going on for a much longer time, for decades. So why not for me collect that stuff, and sure, I'll grab some modern comics, but I'm not spending $5 plus on them unless I really want them, which I really don't at this point. Well, that's why I can't really tell you, hey Joe, go out and get this, because I'm not the Wednesday warrior. I'm not out there looking every day for comics and trying to figure out what you like and give you advice on that, so.
Well, I'm only a Wednesday warrior for the stuff that I have long runs of. So Wonder Woman every Wednesday, Absolute Wonder Woman every Wednesday, Birds of Prey about to get ready to be canceled. So, that volume about to get ready to end. That's one less book that I picked up. I'm now adding back Uncanny X-Men because of the simple fact that if I could complete volumes 4 and 5, then I would have everything current again. And then the cycle never ends, because once you have that ultra long run where you don't miss an issue. Now, I don't do the same thing with annuals, but as far as the actual chronological issues minus the annuals, once you have that type of a run, it's more along the lines like, well, I have to get the next one because of the simple fact that the run needs it.
Yeah.
Now, when I get the chance to read it, I read it. But the historical data is still there. It's at fingertips.
Yeah. No, I like that, actually. I like the idea of having a run. And it's incredible.
Mhm.
You know, it's incredible to have that many comics, you know?
And
That
to
are
me,
sequential.
to me, it seems like it's more valuable in that aspect here, because it's like, if you have to give up, let's say if you have to give up, if I had to give up X-Men, I'd rather give up the whole entire run of X-Men as opposed to one or two issues here and there.
Well, but sometimes, correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of lose interest, so you don't buy them. But then later you grab the back issues, right, and the fill in and they're cheaper.
Well, you can always find them. It's like somebody's going to always have like a dollar sale or $2 sale for these issues because they've been sitting there for so long. They need to get rid of them. They need
So
to
you don't support something you don't like, but if it's the title that you don't necessarily just grab them off the shelf brand new every time. Sometimes you're like, I'm not supporting that, but then later you get it to fill in the run.
Right. Like, for example, I fell out of Uncanny X-Men at volume 3. So 4 and 5 and 6 were stuff that I just didn't really collect. With the 1990s X-Men series, I fell out about volume 4. So 4 and 5 is where I left off at. And getting those now, I'm getting those at, $1, $2, $3, as opposed to the $5, $6, $7, $8 that other people have been paying for.
Yeah.
Now, am I going for the 9-8 collections for this stuff? Not right away. Not right away, because it doesn't make any sense for me to do that. I'm not that uber fan here, and I'm more of a preservationist here. I believe my older stuff should get encapsulated first, than the newer stuff.
Right. Yeah. I know for me, it's like the encapsulating. I'm still not that interested in doing that.
Oh, speaking of encapsulating, you just reminded me the other thing that I needed to bring up here. And I'm not saying if you was aware of it, Aaron, but I'm going to talk about it real quick. Everybody was complaining about also this week that, and this was posted on the 9th here, that CGC's fees were going up on January 6th of the upcoming year, January 6th, 2026. Their fees are going up here. So, the modern tier going up to $30. Like, oh, it's a $3 change, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, it's going up to $45 for vintage tier. High value tier is going up to $100. And then it's like, for 4% of market value, minimum is $135. Everybody was complaining. Guess what I just looked up not too long ago?
What?
People up there was like, oh, well, if that's the case, I'm going to go to PSA. Really? Okay.
PSA,
guess what?
More expensive.
No, $30. CGC what's less?
See,
They're matching PSA. They're matching the PSA prices. The vintage tier, $45.
Yeah.
They're really not doing anything untoward. They just matching what their competition is asking. Now, if you're really that scrapped for cash, if you're really that scrapped for getting books graded, you could always go over here to CBCS here. CBCS still has
that's for preservation.
$22 for new books. The modern tier, which most stuff fits in between 1975 and 2000, is still $24. Vintage tier is still $40. You can save a couple of dollars there, and be none the wiser. But the incessant complaining about, oh, here we go again with CGC raising their prices and everything. It's like, have you not looked at the bigger picture?
Yeah.
The bigger picture is like, they're biggest competition that they have to worry about now, PSA, they're just matching their prices. That's it. You have good grading companies like CBCS that's still cheaper that you could go to.
It's just CGC has the name, you know.
CGC has the secondary market as far as what those outliers, those, if I could say, rabbit fans are willing to pay the big money for that encapsulation.
Yeah. And you're only interested in preservation, not necessarily
resell. It's like resell. It is what it is here, but it's just it's like once I saw it, I was just ready to just come out here and roast a lot of people about their whole CGC ad again. They just not customer friendly and blah 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 blah. I was like,
yeah,
wake up and smell the coffee. They just mashed what their competitor did. It's like their competitors at this level. They just matching it up now, and this is kind of like the indicting thing here that I complain about comic book collectors here. Y'all worry about PSA, y'all worry about CGC, but CBCS, they're still a great grading company. I don't thumb my nose at Beckett at all. They still have the cheaper prices. You might have to wait longer, but you might not get the CGC money if you try to flip your book.
Right.
That goes with the territory of flipping. You're never guaranteed the money that you think you should get here. I think
people love their flipping, though. I know that bothers you know, but they want to do the flipping. To me, that's like too much time. I don't know. I just, it's just too much time, too much energy to do that. But people do that for a reason, Joe, and that's to get the bigger grails that they want, you know. But I just don't have the energy for it.
You kind of make me cringe there with the term grail. I sit here, it's like,
what's a grail? I know. I bet.
Yeah, it's like a grail to one person is a common everyday issue to somebody else.
Exactly. You know, it's ink and paper at the end of the day, but it's fun.
Yep.
It's fun to read. What do we got here? Rage bait. The hobby.
Yeah. That she was talking about. It's like CGC has the Dubro homers that's stuck in their peanuts. Yep. Rage bait. Yeah, the whole thing about grails. It's like, you need to have a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 300. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't.
I don't collect grails, but I collect runs. Therefore, like, I had to sell my 300 like 15 years ago or whatever. And now, holy freak, it's freaking up there. But I'll get a mid-grade 300 and I'll slide it right into my run.
And that's the whole thing. Nobody wants to sell the mid-grade. Everybody wants to buy that high grade. I got to get that high grade. I got to sell that high grade to make the money. It's like, I just asked somebody, I think what it was, shoot. What did they say that they was going to get? Oh, yeah. New Mutants 98.
Oh, yeah. 198.
No, 98.
Oh, 98.
First Deadpool. Yeah, first Deadpool.
Okay.
So I just, a dealer that I know that just told me that, we're about to get 3 first printings in.
Nice.
My comment to them was this. Let me know if you have one that is, low to mid grade that you are willing to part for under $50.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact. I mean, I see those books get sold on auction over and over and over again. I just watched these yahoos out here paying hundreds of dollars for that book. That I know that there's still a lot of copies out there. See?
No, but I want the original. So even though I have this facsimile in this foil facsimile, this True Believers, and then they reprinted the True Believers. Even though I have all these, I want the original. But for now, these are placeholders. So In my
They're more
book.
than just placeholders.
There's story. No, but like you said, it's having the story
hmm
in a run. That's where it's really at. That's where it's really at.
But I'm going to go one step further. They're more than placeholders.
Yeah.
They are technically documentation in history.
Yeah. Exactly.
Each time it is reprinted, it is a documentation in history. One book in particular that I always think about, and it still eludes my grasp, is Giant Size X-Men 1. I do not own one.
I have a facsimile of that, but that's another one. So I recently got this. I bought the first 298.
Mhm.
I don't even care for the McFarlane era as much as a lot of people do. I love the stuff that came before it, you know, but I want the McFarlane stuff. I really do, because I remember when it came out as a kid, and even though I kind of liked it, I didn't like it as much as the earlier stuff. I'm not afraid to just handle it. Like people, some people don't even want to look and hold these older books anymore.
I still
No?
read them. But I'm looking at how people go goo goo gaga for First Gambit, and I go to my storage, and I'm like, I didn't realize I had 3 of them. They're not 9.8. They're not 9.8.
But
Don't get
which
me wrong,
one?
none more 9.8s, but I got 3 of them.
Which Gambit first appearance, though?
Oh, we're not talking about the annual. I do have one copy of the annual. I do have a copy of the annual. I talk about X-Men 266.
Yeah.
I have 3 of them. I'm not up here as like I just watch people up here as like, oh, I'm gonna pay $500, $600, $700 for that. It's like you could probably get a good mid-grade copy of that for a lot less.
See, now I have. Now this is one of the ones that I am emotionally attached to.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, the Hobgoblin.
Now I still have 2 facsimiles, but I recently got an issue of it with the tattoos and everything. This is my childhood. This is like, this is important to me. 60 Center Amazing Spider-Man. But I love this, but I also love other 60 Center Spider-Mans. You know what I'm saying? That it ain't about the price. You know what I mean? Even though I'm happy to have the keys. Do you know what I mean? It makes me feel good to have them in the run. But doesn't mean I love it more than other stuff. But I'm willing to pay for it. You know?
Yep, that is rage bait right there. The hobby pays for itself. It's like it does not. There's depreciation in everything. If you collect cars, there's depreciation in cars. There's any hobby if you take comic book collecting as a hobby, it will never pay for itself.
Right.
Because there's always going to be depreciation until it ages to the point where there are fewer copies available and you're holding on to it.
Yeah, ultimately, and she's also saying that screw the tattoos or fug the tattoos. It's not an actual part of the book, and I hate that. And I understand where you're coming from. But I don't hate that because there's something about holding the comic, and it's like a 40-year-old comic, and it's like brand new. And I like that, I like it. So, but to me, do I have to have everything slabbed in a 9.8? No, I don't even slap, and I'll still handle the comics.
But that's the misnomer about all of this here, Aaron. Nowadays, there's so much emphasis put on slabbing and the 9.8 grade and always having things in high grade. Now, I'm sitting back over here, and people who know that I do whatnot sales. And one of the things that I don't really do too much, and if I actually started to come on to like your claim sales,
yeah,
people are not going to really pay me what these are worth.
No.
And these are extras.
Wow, those are beautiful.
These are extras. They're you know, they're in good shape. They're you
Is
know,
that the second
some of
Wonder
these
Woman?
are reader beaters and stuff.
Is that the second
But
Wonder Woman?
huh?
Is that the second Wonder Woman that you
No,
know?
this is all volume one stuff.
Oh no, but I mean the character.
This is depowered. No, this is the depowered Wonder Woman back in the 1960 no 70s,
Right.
Silver
Okay.
Age.
Okay. It's not Diane.
These are the books that people are trying to find now.
Good. They're cool.
And I'm sitting up here, it's like, well, I got extras of these, and no one want to pay, you know,
I know people don't like.
even what I actually paid for them. And back in the day, I paid anywhere between $5 to $10 for these, and $5 to $10 is like asking too much for some of these people.
Oh yeah, when I do my claim sale, I make sure it's fun older books at a cheap price. But if it's gonna be something that's super nice,
Uh-huh.
then yeah, I go to Feebay. I go to eBay because even though there's fees and stuff, I could still get more because I'm not 100K freaking YouTuber. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Some Bronze Age goodness that people sleep on, that people are trying to now collect.
Yeah,
And
that's why you hold on.
I've been trying to sell these on whatnot for quite some time. Nobody wants to really pick them up, or they want me to do a dollar start on them and lose them for $1. I was like, I can't really do that for these, but some of the modern stuff, sure, no problem.
Yeah, exactly.
No problem. It's like, you know, I go further back than these here, and it just, you know, it makes me happy to find, you know, good homes for books like these.
Yeah,
But I don't want to get raped over the coals either.
right. So, did you answer properly? Your question here is the comic industry really doing better since receiving a collectibles status?
Yes.
How would you summate the answer?
I would make the answer no, it's really not. It just making it more difficult for newer people to get into the hobby itself. It needs to correct that status or that designation. We need to go back to getting people involved in what makes a good story. Why do you like said issues? Is it really worth paying cover price now for these stories?
Yeah, we covered that, right?
And then on top of it, we need to also bridge that gap between this modern age of comics with those who collect more vintage.
Yeah.
And I see that divide beginning wider and wider now.
Most people are coming to my conclusion that I expressed earlier today.
Mhm.
It's not that I want to increase the value of my collection and wave it in everyone's face or try to resell it at a higher value so I can get more. It ain't none of those things, but me putting the actual money into it, I don't need it to pay for itself or anything like that, but I want to buy stuff that will hold its value. You know, I'm just managing my money better instead of getting all the new floppies coming out and then depreciate at a fifth of the price a year later. That doesn't make any sense to me. You know, when I could be getting more comics, you know, that I truly love anyway. It's not worth the risk.
That's the problem with the hobby pays for itself.
Yeah.
And I want to preface it this way. When you get into certain types of collecting, comic books is one of them. But when you start looking at comics, records, anything that has a historical significance, you have to start looking at how it holds its value 20, 25 years out, as opposed to the first 10 years or the first 5 years, which a lot of these so-called other YouTubers are doing here. you're really
hurting themselves.
playing a game of, how can I put this? It's not even stock market. It's more like running numbers.
Yeah, and almost
You're hoping that there's enough FOMO and enough possible fanatic buyers out there for you to flip these things in such a way to make your money.
it almost
Reality is, it never was really like that. And most books really doesn't see the maintaining of their value until at least a quarter of a century out.
yeah, that's true. It's the long term, and by being so short term, you can hurt the intrinsic value of these comics. Um, just by the simple fact of having the mentality to sell, 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 and get as much as you can for it. I would rather just like that's what my attitude is like trading, or
Mhm.
selling at a cheap price, or even like sending them out to friends who I know will enjoy them when I could afford doing that. It's like that to me is more fun than nickel and diming everybody.
I didn't mean to laugh at what
No,
you're saying.
it's
I'm laughing at what he's saying. I hope you drink that Kool-Aid in the book and it gets tired.
Yeah, I know. It is
I'm
awesome.
like, yeah, but those are the things that they did back in the 90s to get more people to buy comics back then.
Yeah,
As like I used to play the game of Overpower, and there was a Marvel and DC component of Overpower, and they used to have those Overpower cards in the comic books.
yeah,
Now, having those Overpower cards in the books now, when you send it out to CGC, that why would it matter? It's not really a part of the comic book.
well,
It's
she's
like,
saying
hell no. It's like it's tanking. DC is about to close the shutters.
I don't know if they are.
DC, the whole thing about Warner Brothers and the whole
Netflix,
thing about DC Comics is a quagmire within itself.
Netflix now.
And I didn't want to touch that one just as of yet, because we don't know who's going to end up with Warner Brothers as of right now.
Okay,
Is it going to be Paramount or is it going to be Netflix?
right.
What's going to happen, what I foresee what's happening with DC is that, yeah, DC Comics is not going to, close per se, but it's not going to be a comic book company anymore.
Really?
It's going to be more or less like a intellectual property slash proof of concept organization
I
for other TV series, possible TV
it's
series. It's going to be the test marketing mechanism, because their marketing people going to see do these collectibles bring in enough people to make them watch this series over here.
yeah. It's unfortunate because I think the publishing side of DC, from what I can see, they are sincere in trying to bring people back in and have it be interesting again for the last couple of years. But yeah, this capital, I don't know. I guess it's a critique on no, like you said, the marketing aspect versus the reading and the stories. You always go back to that, Joe, and I really agree with that. Actually, the stories are more important, than the franchise, the marketability of a franchise and making money.
But that's the
And
thing.
they don't even do it right. That's the mentality, but that's not the end result because they're not looking at good stories. I know. I hear you, man. I hear you.
But that's the problem when something like a DC or a Marvel gets bought out by a major corporation.
Yeah,
That major corporation is not going to look at, are we telling good stories? Their bottom line is, are we making money?
yeah,
Why isn't this book selling 200,000 copies? Why is it barely selling 50,000? What are we not doing right here? And to be quite honest, what I still feel is not being done right here is that these major corporations, their marketing devices are not really set for this medium.
No.
And with things such as, Wizard Magazine being gone away, and there's nothing really out there hyping up a lot of these titles like there used to be back in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s, because there was a lot of fanzines back in the 1970s. There was a lot of publishing companies that and magazines in the 80s that was covering comics and the writers and the creators and the artists, and you got a better understanding. It's like, oh, this type of story sounds kind of cool, I might want to go into the comic book store and buy it. 2025, we have none of that. The only thing that we have is YouTube and TikTok. And what's on YouTube and TikTok? Oh, I hate what they did to this. They ruined my childhood for people of our ilk. Or this stuff is garbage. I'm going to go back over to my manga, which I like. Nobody's talking about that. And then what is being talked about here is like, I like my Gabriel Del Otto cover over here, and I like my Art Journal cover over there, and I like that exclusive sketch cover that I got from dang, I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought here. Or I got my ultimate sketch cover from a Greg Horn.
Yeah,
that is being talked about more. The marketing companies are now saying, we're going to start doing variant covers, and we're going to make that variant cover a 1 in 50. We're going to make our money that way. Be damned the story.
right.
We got our collectability market here.
Even the
we're going to turn comic books like Beanie Babies and make these rarer covers so scarce that in the initial secondary market for it, we can make our money in the secondary market, the comic book stores and everything can follow suit. But we also know that it's going to tank. Those prices are going to tank 20, 30 years down the line unless there is just a rabid fever pitch for a title. And we don't care. We don't care. As long as we feed people those artists that they want to see those covers for, we got them.
Yeah. And that even the crossovers with the recent crossovers with DC and Marvel, they're putting a lot into the covers, which is very alluring because you get to see characters side by side that you don't normally get to see, and that drives the price up. But are the stories good? That's
the problem with the medium.
Yeah.
If the stories are not good, then it's a one and done for a lot of people. Yeah. And then for the simple fact that you're pricing them out, they might buy the one book on general practices, even if it's a 1 in 50 or 1 in 100. If the story's bad, they're not going to come back. That's a waste of $100. They're going to try to figure out a way to either get their money back for somebody else that really wants it, or be out the money for it.
Yeah. That's a whole nother game, is flipping the new stuff. Being on top of that, that's a lot of energy. But yeah.
That's another hard truth too. That is another hard truth. But the way that you're saying it here, Parallax, it's a double-edged sword. I still believe that there's 200,000 K readers out there. I don't believe that's a 200,000 K readers out there that's willing to pay $6, $7, $8 a month for a 16-page comic book, which they're kind of pushing nowadays. It's very rare that we get, I think, 24 pages now. It's a hard sell. And again, it's easier for younger kids to ask their parents for manga books because of the simple fact that a volume of manga is guaranteed to be at least 100 plus pages. Yeah, they're paying, 15, 20, 25 bucks a pop, but you're getting something as thick as regular novels as opposed to something that thin.
You think the floppies are going to go away eventually?
Floppies can't go away. Floppies technically can't go away. And you want to know why? Because now you have to get people to really buy off into graphic novels from the jump.
Yeah.
And how are you going to get somebody to buy into a graphic novel of something that has never been tested? That the story has never been put out there. People want to have that test sample and that small little nugget or bite first before they want to engage in that main course. So the floppy technically will never go away. But to your point, there has been a greater demand for graphic novels and omnibuses and collective volumes.
Yeah.
That's undeniable. That's undeniable. But to get people in the door, you're still going to have that floppy, or at least a ash can. You might have to do the ash can, and then if that ash can does well, then you might jump into the graphic novel. But you're going to have that very first floppy or ash can.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see it going away either. They're just too much fun anyway.
It's just my whole thing here is it really a problem with the medium itself, the customers who buy it, or a little bit of the both? And I said this over and over and over again, and I kind of wish that other collectors and readers understand this. Expecting other people to come from the medium that they're accustomed to read comics is a hard task. It's not intrinsic. If you love watching TV, you want it to be in the form of television.
Yeah.
For a television watcher to come over to read comic books, you have to get them so curious that they cannot wait for the television series, or have them to enjoy the format in that medium where they can enjoy it. If they can't do it, they'll wait. They'll wait. They would say that they're a fan of Batman. They will watch all the Batman TV shows and all the animated series and everything, but they would never read a Batman comic book.
Well, then that leads to the question, will comics be around 50 years from now?
Yes, but not in the form that we're accustomed to. And sadly,
there'll always be some young people who will check it out.
Not in that aspect, not based upon young people.
So
but
50 years from now, unless they develop a pill where people could live longer,
Well, I'm going to say it this way, and it may hurt a lot of other creators, but this is the way that you have to look at it. And I got into several conversations maybe 5 or 6 years back with other creators dealing with this. When you look at comics as a medium, will it be around 50 years from now? Yes. Why? The medium of comics lends to the concept of proof of concept for other mediums.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that a comic book can be converted out to storyboards for television, movies. It could also be broken down into novels, actual prose, I should say. Or it could be broken down to actual illustrations in a series.
Yeah.
So yes, it can stay around, but it would not be a medium where people come and enjoy it and read it on its own merit. It will
Well,
be a proof of concept for something else later on down the line, whether it be for a video game, for a television series,
so
for a
that
movie.
would be for new franchises, but for established franchises, if the younger people are not interested and they just want to watch.
It's still going to be proof of concept. It's still going to be proof of concept no matter what. Spider-Man comics are still going to be Spider-Man comics for eventually moving, one of those storylines to a television series or to a movie.
Yeah, I would hope so. But now you look at movies nowadays, and I really like when they draw upon the lore. When they use aspects of storylines that come from comics, but a lot of times they don't. It's like it's a lot of times they just take the character, and it could be any person really. It could be totally changed, and they just run with it. So I wonder about that.
Well, let's look at a recent movie here. The trailer for Supergirl just dropped. Do you know what the basis of that?
I
that
haven't
movie?
even watched it yet, actually. So
The Supergirl trailer is loosely based off of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Tom King's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's loosely based off of that. It's not one to one, but it is very loosely based off of that.
Are
There's
you
certain scenes in that movie that appeared in Tom King's miniseries.
are you in favor of that? Did you enjoy that?
It was one of his better.
He's just so
Yeah.
up and down, Tom King.
Right. He did so good with Supergirl, but he's doing shitty with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I digress. I digress.
So the Supergirl he did fine. The World of Tomorrow.
Yeah, the Woman of Tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, Woman of Tomorrow.
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. He did good because what he did is he specifically turned the mythos between the Superman family about the difference between Clark and Kal and Kara. They are really two different individuals, and Kara has gone through a lot more than Kal has ever gone through.
Okay.
And a lot of her actions speak for themselves because he delved into a lot of the history and everything dealing with how she eventually came to Earth and met up with Kal-El so many years later.
Right.
And the ride that he takes you on makes you have an appreciation for Kara more so because all the stuff that she went through, she didn't become jaded. With all the stuff that she went through, she would have been one jaded person, period.
Yeah.
But she didn't turn out that way, and that's going to be one of the key things here that they plaster all over the whole trailer.
So in this case, Woman of Tomorrow was a proof of concept for the movie.
To a certain degree, they took certain aspects of it, and the main theme of it is Kal sees the good in people, while I see the truth itself. And they really delve more into that through her actions in both that storyline and in this movie.
I think
they're parallels, but they're not exact. They're not one to one. It's not Watchmen. It's definitely not Watchmen.
I think they're billing this as one of the darkest superhero comic movies ever, or something.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Well, I think I read that somewhere already. Like as I was scrolling, I saw a banner for that.
But there's the problem. This is the problem that I constantly tell comic book readers about these movies. They're not making these movies for us. They're making these movies for movie goers. The main problem with movies like Watchmen is that the average moviegoer could not understand it because it was 1-to-1 from the comic book.
Right.
If you haven't been exposed to the comic book, you wouldn't be able to follow it.
Right.
That was one of my criticisms about V for Vendetta. It wasn't 1-to-1 from the comic book, but it was enough from the books with a lot of changes that made it palatable for the average moviegoer to understand the story without having to read the series.
Yeah. Hack Schneider.
Hack Snyder made Watchmen without the slimy squid. Yeah, but again, there's certain things that I'm glad that happened in Watchmen that they couldn't do. Like they couldn't do the full comedian story. They couldn't do the full comedian story. That would have caused an outrage. Just like in V for Vendetta, they could not do the LSD dream, the LSD dream that Mr. Finch had going back to the camp. When it comes to certain things about subjects about genocide and cultural appropriation, it gets sticky. It gets very sticky to try to do it in a movie.
Yeah.
So you have to think whenever they do a movie, they have to do it to make it palatable for a moviegoer and not for us comic book readers.
Yeah.
If we're going to go see it regardless, because we're a fan, we want to see it regardless.
And therefore, proof of concept isn't as important. It could be used as a seed, as you said, but it won't be 1-to-1 in a lot of cases because the formats are different.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to think of. I should go ahead and do maybe a show primarily talking about the comic book writing aspect, because one comic book, it's like understanding storyboarding, comic book paneling, and storytelling is one major thing here.
That would be interesting
because people don't understand that one panel could be any length of time.
Yeah.
It's not set in stone.
Right.
But when you start thinking about storyboarding for other medium, everything is set to time. And when you start doing it for things like film, everything is strictly time. It takes a person 3 seconds to get to a chair. It takes them 2 seconds to sit down. It takes them 5 seconds to take a drink of water.
Yeah.
All of that is built into storyboarding. And I just knocked on my glasses here. I caught it just in time here.
Good.
But all that is built into the storyboarding. And it has to be kept in time because why? Movies are timed entity stories. You only have 120 minutes to cover a lot of things here.
Yeah. You could do memories differently, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, Leia's saying it's time for us to shut up.
Oh, I know. She's been into the Triple C. I tell you, she's bringing him up a lot. You know?
No, she's telling us dollar hauler time at
Triple C.
At cheap comic collectors.
Yeah. Yeah. Go Rob. I'm glad he's doing that. That's awesome.
Yep. So that's what she's telling us. It's like, shut it up. Let's end it. And we're almost at the we're almost at our normal 2-hour mark. So I get it. Just put that anywhere, pal. That's what she just said. As you would put it up books. Just put it anywhere. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole gist of the matter for this topic here. Is it really helping? No. Can it be better? Yes. But it takes us as the readers, the collectors, and so forth to do so, because these companies are just still going to try to feed us the whole collectability aspect until we tell them that's not what we want.
Right. you know, and you could find good stories on the cheap too. That's another aspect that we
Mhm.
covered, like this Elementals from Kamiko from the 80s.
Mhm.
Great characterizations, memorable characters, you know. Um, yeah. I, so to me, it's like I don't mind going alone. I don't need to be on everyone's comic channels talking about the latest comic coming out. I think that's part of the motivation too,
Mhm.
where the stories, a lot of them are decompressed and they're not as interesting as they once were. You know, not always, but you know.
Well, that and there's nothing new truly up under the sun. Nobody is really, if I could say it, truly creating universes anymore.
Right.
Doctor Strange. Yep.
Yep. Against
Ooh,
eternity.
Eternity.
Yeah. And he had to convince eternity not to, you know, hit the off switch on humanity by going through all these travails and stuff. I think in this one he actually, you know what? I didn't know that Doctor Strange's teacher, the Ancient One, was
Mhm.
powerful enough in his astral form to hold off eternity and have a fight. I never knew that. That was really
That's something that I didn't even know here.
yeah,
And I do agree. Again, that comes back to the marketability and collectability.
yeah,
There is no such thing as a true ongoing series anymore.
yeah. Unfortunately,
There's too many reboots.
and Bendis
There's
sucks.
too many miniseries for it to be even looked at as the comic market is the same here. Yep, the Kree War.
Yeah, this is one of the first Marvel events. Not it didn't break out; it stayed within the title Avengers in effect, but it's the first event to really affect more than one title. That's a lot of fun. But I find that these reprints, there's something about the paper and the inking. It's not the same as the originals.
And Bendis suck.
It kind of sucks. Yeah. I mean,
I like.
at
I
one
should have
time,
known. I should have known that she was going to have that jab at the last
well, at
minute.
one time, Bendis was all right until he had to write more than 2 titles a month. Then he got seriously decompressed, and all the characters sounded the same. That's what happened. That's his story. You know?
Actually, what I think here is Bendis was good until he got into writing team dynamics, and when he started doing different teams, all the teams started sounding the same. It wasn't unique.
Yeah, that Una voice. I did
So
not like
I was
that.
like, I'm thinking about his original run with New Avengers, and then he did a Mighty Avengers series, and I was like, it's old. It sounded like old hat.
Yeah. Here's the Doom
Yeah,
Patrol.
he was good for Ultimate. He was good for Ultimate Spider-Man, but when he came to New Avengers, it was just like he does not know how to write team books. Yes, again, as much as I kind of loathed back in the day, Boris and Grant Morrison. I love his Doom Patrol work.
You don't like
I love his X-Men work, but during the
you don't-
time that they were coming out, I loathed it because of the simple fact that I knew that nobody else could come behind them to continue this.
yeah, no endless mutations. You didn't like that. You didn't like
Right.
secondary mutations.
No, it was a great idea, but it. Okay.
I just liked how it was written, and I liked the art, and I thought it was cool. But yeah, you bring up valid points about X-Men. Yeah.
Are you familiar about how most people get their doctorate degrees? Are you familiar with that?
Besides the obvious, going to school and
Well, yeah, no, but the requirement for you to graduate with your doctorate is that you have to add on to the body of knowledge for the area that you're getting your
yeah,
doctorate
you have
in.
to have a hypothesis written out, like a big thesis.
Grant Morrison technically did do a PhD thesis for both Doom Patrol and X-Men.
Yeah,
And it's like he added all these extra tools in the toolkit for other people to use to create greater stuff with,
Yeah.
but nobody else know how to use it.
The same thing with Animal Man.
Yep.
You know?
That's why I was like, I like him, but I hate him. I like him, but I hate him.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing here. Yeah, stupid man cat beast. You see, you complain about stupid man cat beast. I'm complaining about stupid Warren Worthington. He should be nowhere near being an actual angel. I'm sorry. But again, brilliance. It was brilliance. It's like, wait, Warren Worthington's blood just cured AIDS? He's turning into an actual angel? What?
I liked these a lot.
Yep.
So. I'm just getting these in alphabetical order so they can go into the short boxes easier. You know?
Yep, that's pretty much how I got these boxes for when I go to storage. It's like they're in some type of order based upon series. I pull the box, put it in the short box for that title, and keep pushing.
Did you ever read Planetary?
No.
It's very cinematic. Warren Ellis and John Cassidy created this, and for the first couple of years, it's really awesome, really epic stuff. Now what, Leia? Now
Hey,
what?
she's calling out your comic collector card.
What? Now what, Leia?
She said, "No one cares here. Stupid Mark Spears, you poser.
Wow.
You don't mess up, Ron."
What about? Do you care about this one?
Hashtag meaty. Yes, I care about that one. I still have to finish issue number 6, just like I still have to finish issue number 8 of Amazonia.
I think I have this filed under P when I should have it filed under A.
No, you're actually correct. It is prime time Saturday night. You don't have it's a sister book of AWF. You don't have to have it filed up under
maybe
AWF.
I should file under,
Uh-huh.
Cygency, right?
Right.
I could do that. Then keep all your stuff together.
Even if the creator is a snob. I keep asking her, it's like, point me to other good female-led titles. Especially the ones that are not TNA.
So,
and then she points me to one, I start collecting it, and you're like, oh, collect this book over here, this book over here, that book over here. It's like, I'm not interested in those team books. No.
Pathetic. I only read
Superman. Yep.
I've only read the first 3 Absolute Superman. I hear it keeps getting better. So
I get mad at Marvel Rivals because people don't play as a team. That's why I don't like games where it's forced you to play as a team. Because when people don't play, be a good team member, it just ruins it for everybody else on that team. I lost a couple of games of 3-on-3 basketball because people won't pass the ball.
Frank Bruner art from the 80s. Good stuff. It's a lot of fun. Warp.
Yep.
Just another human being zapped up into space and not really having to alchemate and be a hero.
See, that's her favorite series right there. Tarot Witch of the Black Rose. She gets the best of both worlds.
TNA. Now, this is something that Leia doesn't care about, but it actually was okay. I buy from my friend Cicada Sonic, and I didn't get the ones after this, but this was essentially a what if. Can I spoil the premise of this one?
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's new,
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man and Wolverine. This is like a what if Wolverine was responsible for killing Peter's original S.H.I.E.L.D. parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a major throwdown in this. Or I mean, the next one's there's supposedly a major throwdown.
Oh, that's a little bit interesting. It's kind it kind of rewrites a little bit of history, revision of history, but that's kind of fun. I mean, I still like the whole Wolverine Punisher back in the Vietnam era.
Yeah,
that was actually a good story.
The Garth Ennis stuff, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He's a good writer, but he's kind of gnarly sometimes. I don't really always like him.
I kind of agree.
Awesome.
I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that. She's saying it's a weak retcon, but
I don't know if it's true.
But it's still kind of like one of those things that it's like, you know, it makes for a good kind of what if, or
it might be just
revisionist history. Just
it might be just a misunderstanding. It's just a temporary plot point or whatever, probably inconsequential. But it was fun. It was fun aspect of the comic. I was surprised because, like you, Leia, I had lower expectations, but I just got it anyway because I got it on the cheap, you know, and it actually ended up being entertaining. So
kind of like how I treated Wolverine Havoc Meltdown when it first came out.
Yeah,
it was cool because it was done in watercolors. I mean, it didn't look like the best of anything, but it was cool because it was watercolors. But the story after it grew on me, it was pretty good.
Cool.
She's like, I like cheap.
Yeah. Oh, Leia, according to my records, you got the package I sent you. So,
yeah, I still got to send out books, and hopefully I can do that at the beginning of the year. She got a #1 issue that she's been looking for the longest time, but she didn't give me the list of everything else that she was looking for as of yet. You still got a couple of Marvel Tales that I haven't finished going through all my other boxes and storage.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
Marvel Tale stuff that I got.
Yeah. No big deal.
Yeah.
It's all fun. Just, you know, when it becomes stressful, it's not worth doing. It's
not stressful because I have to get everything organized anyway. So
yeah,
it's like I'm going through. The people who are half helping me, they don't understand the idea of, even though it says Spider-Man on a book, that is not a Spider-Man title book.
Yeah.
And they put it all in one box. Like, here's all your Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go back and reorganize the box because here's Marvel Tales, here's, you know, Web of Spider-Man, here's you know, here's Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man. They're not all in one. Like,
I do have my entire collection of comics organized now. I just got to put them into the CLZ app. But I tend to put characters together for the most part, but major characters that I really like and enjoy, like Spidey, they're all together, but they're alphabetical. So they're under S, except they're mostly nearby, and then they start with Amazing Spider-Man, and then it'll go to Astonishing or whatever it is, you know. It'll
1,000 packages.
I'm organized, Leia. You know what I mean?
Oh, look at me. I'm Aaron. I think I'm organized.
Yeah.
I do have to go back to her earlier statement here.
Yeah, I coined that one, meanie.
Yep.
She always talks about beanie, so now I said, well, you're meanie. So there's meanie and beanie.
Well, you have to understand. Yeah, you have to understand one thing about her, and we kind of agree after listening to this one comedian, and it's dealing with New Yorkers as a whole. They are aggressively nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm from back east, you know. I didn't live in New York. It was Connecticut, so I understand it, you know. I live in Washington.
Fancy Aaron. Fancy Knickerbocker. With his pinky out. She say you would drink like bottles of soda with the pinky out.
That's right. But what can I say? Alpha Flight's really good, especially that first couple of years there. And I guess it gets good later on. Alpha Flight does get boring for a while, you know. I'm surprised it lasts.
Only thing I can say about Alpha Flight, only thing I can say about Alpha Flight is that it didn't hold my interest until Heather became Vindicator / Guardian
Yeah,
permanently.
right. But as
When
a
she
kid,
took over, when James died and she took over, that's when Alpha Flight actually got interesting
yeah,
because the characters kind of fit into the roles that they were supposed to be in the very first place.
I'm telling
Again,
you, that John
it-
Byrne stuff, when I was a kid, I ate it up. I loved it. I loved the Marina turning into a monster and Submariner loving her and Master of the World. I freaking thought that dude looked cool. He
I,
had a stupid name, but he looked cool, you know?
I'm going to vindicate Parallax here for a second. You're right. John Byrne did a lot for Alpha Flight, but you have to understand one other thing. John Byrne still wanted to write X-Men,
Yeah,
but got pissed off at Shooter
right.
with the way that Claremont handled the whole Phoenix thing.
Yep.
So she's actually technically right. It is technically low grade X-Men.
Yeah.
It's really X-Men on the down low, the ultra down low, just like how she treats Great Lakes Avengers like a extra low grade Avengers. That, well, not even that. It's Timu Avengers.
I always wonder what Dave Cockrum thought when Byrne got left X-Men, right?
Mhm.
Like Dave was like, see how you get treated. But Cockrum got back in there for a little while.
Yep.
You know? But yeah, I guess Chris Claremont, man, he held on to that though. He somehow
But he wrote
maneuvered
he wrote some great things here.
yeah,
But the resolution that he came up with Claremont, as far as how to treat Jean Grey after that had happened
yeah,
with Phoenix,
yeah,
is brilliant. It was brilliant, but
yeah,
Shooter shot it down.
yeah.
Why
But Byrne
couldn't
was able to bring
why can't they leave Jean as a as a vegetable and have her parents become one of the greatest opponents of the X-Men?
right.
For
Yeah.
those who don't know, look up the untold story of Phoenix.
Yeah.
They actually did a comic on that. They actually released that story in comic book form. Marvel
It's
did.
almost like Proteus though, that energy.
Moira's son.
Yeah. And he ended up possessing his father's body and all that stuff.
Well, that's the one thing I didn't like about the cartoon is that they did a lot of the warp stuff. But if you read the book
Yeah,
did.
I enjoy the classic X-Men comics I've been reading recently. So, but yeah, sure, Alpha Flight's a downgrade, but not for the first year or so. The art was top notch. It's just the characters weren't as great as what Claremont and Byrne did with them. Roy Thomas actually is the writer responsible for bringing most of those characters together. And then Claremont jumped right in there, and somehow he just turned it into even more magical or something.
Well, to be quite honest, it was Roy Thomas that saved the X-Men.
Yeah, with Dave Cockrum, right?
Cockrum established the mythos of what people love.
Mm-hmm.
Claremont ran with it.
Yeah.
Byrne solidified that this ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Shooter comes in and kiboshes. And I still sit back and I think to myself, was he right or was he wrong? Should the whole thing with the Phoenix destroying these couple of galaxies, should that that going unpunished, was that really the right thing to do? To find a way to reconcile that.
Well,
At the height of its popularity with everything that was going on, the tail end of the Dark Phoenix saga,
yeah.
did the reconciliation need to be handled the way that it did? was Byrne actually right as far as the story that he wanted to tell?
Yeah.
Or was there some other happy medium that could have came about?
Well, Byrne was able to help bring Jean back, so maybe he felt a little vindicated during his Fantastic Four run there, you know. But
which was good. I don't complain. I think I got just about all of his Fantastic Four run.
I grew up on that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
he gave us Malice. Yes.
Yes. But
he solidified Sue being the strongest member of the Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. He solidified that wholeheartedly.
Yep. Made her interesting, even more interesting. They spent a little too much time in the negative zone, but it ends up picking up. My first Fantastic Four comic was with the Doom, cover, with his hand ripping through the cover like that, and all it was a backstory of him being the, if you could call him a tyrant, but he wasn't portrayed as a tyrant, of Latveria, right? Actually showed the people happy and all this other stuff. I think maybe he was one of the first to really show that side of Doom or something. I could be wrong about that, but that left a big impression on me when I was a kid,
But that's a misnomer about Doom. That's the true misnomer about Doom, because he would introduce a lot of messed up stuff, but like what the Watcher said, it's like there's one incarnation of the Marvel Universe that he brings utopia. He brings about utopia.
Yeah.
So he's the greatest anti-hero ever.
Yeah.
Doom is what he wants to be.
Who could take on groups of superheroes.
Yep.
When Doom showed up, it was an event. Did you read that? I've been collecting the Wade and where Ringo, and I know that artist was really interesting. I did read some of the Wade stuff, and they portrayed Doom more as the evil side, not the anti-hero.
Right.
And a lot of people did not like the Mark Waid Fantastic Four. Consequently, he took Doom too far in that evil side. But
it kind of fits though. But again, it's just that's just Wade.
Well, he wasn't so much an anti-hero during that run. Maybe that's why Leia brought him up.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of that, Leia? Did you like it? I have yet to read it straight through. I'm collecting books of Doom as well.
Mm-hmm.
Doom is fun to collect, whether you like, to admit it or not.
Right.
He's
an interesting character nonetheless.
Yeah.
I just like his interaction with characters outside of Fantastic Four. Like I would never forget the Luke Cage story. Where's my money, honey? It's like, wait, you did all of this for over $500?
Yeah. Do you like stories when Squirrel Girl and stuff like that could beat Doom? I hate those stories.
No, I love the story about how she beat Thanos and how she beat Galactus, and the fact that she got Galactus on speed dial.
Yeah.
Those stories have charm to it because she beat both of them, not through sheer strength, but through outcunning them. And she did it in such a way that it boggles the mind that somebody was just that forward in doing it.
Parallax.
That they just had to respect it. They just had to respect it.
Parallax hates Squirrel Girl, dude.
But it's stupid. It was stupid, but you have to admit, it's like, as stupid as it was brilliant in its tactical application. It was very, especially with Thanos, how she beat Thanos was very stupid. It's borderline of, we say so that this worked. I'm like, You got to be kidding me.
Does it
But you
downgrade?
got to put kind of like respect on the name, because it's like after that it was just like,
Does it downgrade the villains though when someone like her beats them? You know, it's pretty crazy.
it's the fact that she have Galactus on speed dial, and
Yeah.
Galactus is like okay with how he lost to her, and have a respect for
You gotta
her
respect
enough. I mean, respect enough that she came that close to almost being a herald.
Yeah.
I accept that. I accept that. But like I said, Squirrel Girl, her characterization now in the Marvel universe, it really depends on who writing her.
Yeah.
She is written to be more of a jokey character, but so was Plastic Man. So was Il O'Brien.
Yeah. Al Ewing, before he did Hulk, he was more underground Marvel, and he was writing good stuff. And I liked his portrayal in U.S. Avengers, but she was all like bucktooth and stuff. There was something about he was trying to do something different with her, you know, and I thought it was kind of working. But
But again, it worked a lot better because it made the relationship between her and Tiptoe, the squirrel, the normal squirrel that always with her.
Yeah.
And Tiptoe is a force to be reckoned with. How Tiptoe deals with other squirrels and get them to do whatever they do.
Yeah.
Yes. Tippy Toe is like that. Like I said, Squirrel Girl is an enigma. She's an enigma, but sometimes, even though as stupid as some of the stuff that they allow her to do, you gotta put some respect
on. It seems to me you're expressing your guilty pleasure. Like I have a guilty pleasure of.
It's not even a guilty.
No. Listen, I have a guilty pleasure, and I'm not an expert, but Gwenpool. I think she's funny.
The character that does not have a universe anymore.
Yeah,
he has been completely erased from the Marvel universe. And Deadpool's like, you know what? You could be a Deadpool for all I care now, since I know what happened to you.
Yeah. I need to reread them, but every time I was reading Gwenpool like 5 years ago, and I was laughing, but I was like, I gotta put this down. I don't like it though. You know, so it's like a guilty pleasure. You know,
it's one of those things where it's like I collected the 2 volumes of the last major run of Squirrel Girl, so I kind of understand what they were trying to do with her.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like some of the ways that she beat these villains, it's just like,
or Jeff the Lynch,
like how she beat Craven the Hunter to make him realize that how he was hunting down heroes and animals was wrong. Pretty much pulling like a ASPCA moment on Craven the Hunter, and it worked. Great. I was like, this is so stupid. This is so stupid, but it works for her series.
Yeah, it was gold. But even stuff like Jeff the Land Shark that makes no sense, and why would I even like just that he's stuck on Deadpool's like hand or something? It's totally ridiculous, and it worked. You know,
again, characters like that just work.
Yeah, and you don't know why.
But you have to understand, I have love for characters like Il O'Brien, aka Plastic Man.
Yeah.
Characters like Plastic Man technically should not work, but it does.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he was a villain. Now the sense of humor and all that stuff. We didn't need an elongated man. Why did they even use that guy? I don't know.
Again, you know how elongated man got created, right?
Because the editor wanted to use him, or so. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't.
The editor forgot that they had the rights to Plastic.
Oh, we don't. We already have. We got this semi-popular.
You have Plastic Man waiting to be brought out. People are waiting. It's like, no, we're going to create this new character. We're going to call him the elongated man. It's like, we need somebody that can stretch and do this, that, and the other, and blah, 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 blah.
That's hilarious. They didn't realize they owned him.
Yeah, DC owned Plastic Man, and they Just forgot.
Did the file get like thrown out or something on
Yep.
this character?
Yep. See, she even backed me up. They wanted to use Plastic Man. They didn't realize that DC owned them, so they made Elongated Man. They made Mr. Dabney.
Now what do they do with this guy? You know, but
Mhm.
but that's kind of digressing from beloved nonsensical characters that you make work, like Squirrel Girl telling Craven that it's wrong that he hunts animals and stuff. You know?
It's like, you call yourself the greatest hunter in the world, but you do not get any satisfaction from the sport. And then all this other stuff, blah, 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 blah. And you call yourself hunting me. I'm a squirrel, and I'm outdoing you and out cutting you and this, that, and the other. So what type of real hunter you are? Like, I'm going like, okay.
Telling him off, you know, telling this psychopath Craven the hunter off.
Told him straight off while tippy-toeing these other squirrels were beating the mess out of him.
Wow.
I'm like, it works. It just works for some reason. It was hilarious as hell, but it works.
It's funny because you're telling off a psychopath.
It just works. It's comedic gold, but yet it's superhero comics. And maybe it is a throwback to like the golden age of comics, golden age comics. Maybe it's a throwback to that, and that's what reason I like it. Maybe that's my guilty pleasure. Some of the golden age aspects of comics.
They amalgamated that aspect of earlier comics into modern comics. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it makes me curious now about Squirrel Girl.
It's not for everyone. Just like
there's Gwenpool.
Yeah, you got Gwenpool. Gwenpool is not for everyone, but there's humor in Gwenpool. There's humor in Squirrel Girl. And I love Kamala Khan Miss Marvel, because it was serious at first. It was serious at first, and then they got a little bit of teen angsty, but it stayed primarily she was doing her best to be the next great superhero.
Yeah. She does have the Marvel look too. G. Willow Wilson did a great job in helping create that character, I think. So.
Now, when they made her an X-Men, that's where I'm up there like, nah, y'all messed her up. Y'all messed her up.
I'm throwing
the way that she was, left her as a possible Inhuman candidate and all this other stuff. But no, we're going to fully convert her into a mutant, because now we can't go the actual movie route with Inhuman, because the Inhumans failed. So now we got to make her an X-Men.
Yeah, it's too bad.
She's a mutant now. I'm
like, why? They didn't need to do that. They literally killed her just so they could bring her back as a mutant. I mean, come on. Just be an Inhuman. What's wrong with Inhumans? Just because you couldn't make it work, because you tried replacing your X-Men franchise with Inhumans, it didn't work. Doesn't mean Inhumans suck. You just haven't been able to do it yet. You haven't been able to use.
And you had a failed television movie event that just didn't work because, again,
but Terrigen Mists and all of that is still very interesting. I think the core concept, the Kirby concepts, are interesting.
Aaron with his 50-cent words about.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing at. I was confusing her a little bit, using these big words.
I'm wondering if she ever going to admit that sometimes she uses a dollar word instead of 50 cents worth.
I wonder if she's ever going to be a guest on either my stream or your stream or something, and that would be fun. You could be
that would take some time.
Yeah,
that would take some time and effort. And as of right now, that's a no. I know the answer to that question.
She won't do it. She won't do it.
No, it's not that.
It would be
it's a reason that I actually respect. It's a reason that I actually respect.
Okay, it's cool.
It would be the Beatty show.
It wouldn't be the Meanie show, right?
It would be the Beatty show. But yeah, I actually respect it, because her and I actually talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that, being the producer for Comic Book Spectrum, is that I'm always looking for other people to be, regular panelists on it, because I Comic Book Central to be a rotating panelist show. That way, sometimes I could take that off-camera role and just make certain that everybody else is on camera and you do talk whatever y'all going to talk about and everything. And sometimes I could have some of my Thursdays back where I could actually do comic book work and other stuff.
Yeah.
But having people rotate in and out is a good thing, but we haven't got enough people that are compatible to one another before we could do that here.
Yeah. No, it's it's tough to commit to something like that. I'll tell you.
Oh, I'll tell them a bit later. I'll tell them a bit later. Yeah, I like him because he already know. I'll tell him a bit later here. Like I said before, I have to respect her reason for it because it's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
But for the better interest of all the parties that is available, it's for right now, it's kind of like one of those no-goes.
Right.
But let's go ahead and see what Cheap Comic Collector got here because we went 30 minutes over.
Yeah, you went to overdrive. You went to overdrive today.
Yep. So
very good. Thanks for having me.
Tell people where they can find you, especially this upcoming Monday.
Oh yeah, I didn't make the link yet, but I have this channel called PSG Comics. Mondays is great. I have a couple other seller / we trade, we sell. It's a lot of fun. I do once a week. I drop a video, The Back Room, Super Cheap Comics. It's kind of like an extension of that show. So I want to thank Joe for having me. This was my first time, and I feel like it really flowed naturally. It was really nice. So thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me here, man.
Not a problem. And for everybody else, I will be back here next Saturday, as normal. New topics, hopefully more comic books for the week. And she is telling us that Cheap Comic Book Collector is done. So that tells me he didn't have a lot of dollar books, or he wasn't trying to sell no dollar books, really.
Yeah.
And I'm a member. You have to treat us members a lot better and not do things during the time that I run a live stream.
Exactly.
See, that's a good idea. Build your own unidentified flying object.
Well,
yep, buy your own UFO.
I drive people nuts with showing just this model of a UFO in the box that's not even built yet. Okay,
so member show is tomorrow too. So everybody has their show. And the one thing that I do look forward to sometimes with Aaron, I'm not sorry if you do it every Monday or every Wednesday, you do that one podcast dealing with the next track on your album. And you talk about the tracks on your album.
I do that once a month. I'm going to probably do that next week. And I run through about 6 songs and I tell the story. Every song that I create is actually the lyrics were created first as a story. And I have all these different characters in this world, like a comic book universe. And I just started it. I've been building this thing for years, but I just launched it a few months ago. So I'm having fun with that as well. It's a labor of love. You know what I mean?
Yep. The past is just peptides.
That's one of my lyrics. The past is just peptides, a neural net, a neurological network in your brain squirting out peptides, right? You know, so that it's just chemistry. We're recreating things in our brains. That's what they say, at least. They say that the eyes are bringing in light around us and we're recreating it, you know, as a neural net. But it's all fiction, right? Science fiction, people.
Yep.
You know?
Super science.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Beanie randomly says peptides the other day.
Peptides. Nice. Well, hello, Beanie. Thanks for being so nice.
So we'll be back next Saturday. So until then, sorry about everything on my East Coast friends here. Y'all in the future. So for the rest of us, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, the rest of the 26 minutes here. If you're in the Central Time Zone, everybody else, like Aaron, they got a lot more time. They got a couple more hours.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Until next week, we are out of here. Bye.